What's up guys, it's Scoopman5000. Today we're back for another action figure review, the first review of 2021, and we're looking at 2020's greatest wrestling return in Edge. Now this Edge I believe comes from Wrestlemania. This also has a chase that pictures his greatest wrestling match ever with Orton, and then the upcoming Ultimate's going to depict the Royal Rumble. So all three of Edge's matches are going to be depicted in figure form. This is just the first one we're getting in our hands. Obviously the chase is also out on ringside, but that one's $40 right now, so I'm going to wait a little bit. Hopefully that price will drop. For now, we got this version of Edge, an essential pickup. Now, I was going to review the entirety of Series 83, but while I was making that video, my Baron Corbin snapped right in half, and now that wasn't that bad. You can kind of just put him back together and act like he's still one piece, but then my Sasha Banks had to come in, and I didn't even get this on film. The head completely snapped off when I tried to remove the jacket. So hopefully that'll get resolved, try to get some replacements through ringside, but for that reason, I'm just going to be reviewing Edge. I think he's a figure exciting enough to stand on his own as it is, and this will be a bit of a shorter video, I guess. For the packaging here, you can see it's that new 2021 style, the white with the red accents, the certified authentic logo in the middle, and the true effects with the render in the front. On the left side, you get a render of Edge in his t-shirt. On the other, you get an in-ring shot, or an entrance shot, I should say. And then on the back here, you get the read-up. It says Edge, the ultimate opportunist, wanted to prove his WrestleMania 36 victory over Randy Orton wasn't a fluke in the greatest wrestling match ever. So maybe the gray gear is from the greatest wrestling match. I don't remember which gear. The chase version is like a gold color, gold and black. You can see the other characters in the wave here. And with the packaging taken care of, let's get to it and let's get the rated R superstar out of the packaging. And here's Edge out of the packaging, and for accessories, it's a bit light, but everything you're going to need, I think, for this new version of Edge. We're getting that Ultimate soon, that's going to have way more to it, but for now, we're getting the cloth t-shirt, that's kind of the main piece here. I always thought this was a really awesome design. Actually, I hope this design's still on WWE Shop, because I never bought it, and I definitely intended to. But really cool shirt. I don't know if he ever actually wore it on TV during this run. I'm gonna have to kind of go back and look at that, but either way, I think it looks great on the figure, so for that reason alone, I am gonna keep it on when I go ahead and display this figure. For the alternate hands, he comes included with kind of the two standard gripping hands, and then in one of the coolest mess-ups probably ever on a figure, he's got two sweet hands in this first batch of Edge figures. Now this is really cool, really significant. The only other time we've gotten two sweet hands was in the Balor and AJ 2-pack, and in that case, those were painted specifically to match Finn Balor and AJ Styles' gloves and wrist tape and all that. But here we have two flesh-toned, plain two sweet hands. You could swap these onto any Mattel figure, any custom. So if you're making NWO, you're making Bullet Club, you're making The Click, it doesn't matter. You got some really cool options now. And luckily for me, with the Edge Heads figure, the way I display it, I have Edge with the two rock and roll hands, and then I have Hawkins and Ryder each throwing up one hand. That leaves me with two spare hands, one on each side. So for my case, I'm just going to be using the Edge Heads hands. They're the exact same skin tone. But that leaves us with Edge here, and just off the bat, a stunning figure, a great return to form, or a return to wrestling figures for Edge. Well, I guess we did get the Edge Heads, but that kind of felt like a very old figure, just a lot of the same parts. And I guess there really isn't that much new parts here, but the new coat of paint on him, the brand new head sculpt, looks amazing. I actually really like the gray gear here, and I still am very excited to get that chase once the price drops a little bit or there's some kind of ringside sale. But really awesome. We're going to go ahead and get a closer look. Luckily, nothing broke on me like with Baron Corbin and Sasha Banks, but the head sculpt here is really awesome. I think the only complaint I could really make about it is that it's in this smiling position, which is just kind of not that useful for certain parts. But if you throw on the shirt, the rock and roll hands like he's making his entrance, I think it works. But if you want more of an action pose, it might look a bit awkward when he's like spearing Randy Orton and he's got a big smile. But that is a good psycho Edge face, and Edge has kind of a weird face. I think one that's kind of hard to translate to figures, so they did a good job here, especially with an expression. The hair looks like a separate piece to me, and it looks like it almost rides a bit high, like he's got a big forehead or something, but it's not that big of a deal. That kind of goes into Edge's weirdness, I guess. And then the facial hair is done really well. He's got the hint of gray, since this is an old grizzled version of Edge, coming back from retirement. Really probably one of the highlights from 2020, and I think there's no better way to kick off this year than with a brand new Edge figure like this. The body here is what we're used to. Could use some chest hair, but nothing wrong with it. Otherwise, it's the same one from the Edge Heads and basically every other Mattel Edge. The tattoos look good like you'd expect. Maybe they should be a bit faded, but not a big deal. I think some of these are new. Most of that is the same from all the previous Edge figures. And then for the tights, they're gray. I like the color. And then we got some silver and some dark red kind of to go with his wrist tape and the elbow pads. So the rated R logo. And then that really awesome like skull with the rock and roll going here with the Edge logo. The same design, that is present on his t-shirt, but it's done on both of his tights here. Then he's got the knee pads done in the maroon color with the same Rated R logo, and then those same throwing it up skull logos on the boots with a bit of extra lightning, fiery maroon effects going on the side. For his articulation, you see the head's going to go back not very far because of the hair. Forward is really not that much either, and the tilt is kind of there. It's better than some figures, worse than some others. The torso is going to snap back that much, forward that much. He's going to rotate at the waist. The arms are going to hinge pretty tight. I'm not going to play with it. I've broken 2 figures today. It's going to swivel. We got the upper bicep cut, the single jointed elbow, the hinge, and the rotation at the wrist. The legs are going to split pretty decent. He's going to go back, not at all. Forward, pretty decent. Upper thigh cut is there. Double jointed knees, pretty good. He's got the boot cut, then the hinge, the really tight Mattel hinges, and the almost non-existent ankle rocker at the boot. And that is going to do it for the Rated R Superstar Edge. And with that, we're going to go ahead and let's do some comparison. And you can see him here with the basic Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, our trusty basics we bring in every time. The height here may be a bit off. I know Edge is very tall, so maybe he should be a bit taller, but it's not terrible. When we bring in the Elites, I think it's a bit better, but I think Edge maybe should be a bit closer to Roman. I think of them more equal in height, but definitely they're both going to tower over Rollins, so at least that's correct. They look good together, as all Elites do. And then here he is with some Elite 83 figures. We got Baron Corbin, who's missing his torso, and then we got the brand new Drew McIntyre, who I'm not going to review, but he's an excellent figure. Looks like he's been out in the sun. If you compare him to his original figure, you can see the skin tones closer to Edge's here. And I think Corbin was in the Royal Rumble, so what you have here is a Royal Rumble 2020 display in the making. And then for some kind of more random comparisons, here's the Dusty Rhodes from his Elite set, and then also the Elite Fiend Bray Wyatt. Always got to have a Fiend on hand. And then finally, you could see him here with the Edgehead's Edge, who looks a little bit taller, despite them using most of the same parts. And then we have Randy Orton, his greatest rival, really his only rival from 2020. And we'll do a little more of a comparison with these two so you can see the difference in the tattoos. So that whole bicep tattoo looks new on this figure. The forearm is actually present. It's actually a bit less detailed, or maybe it's made to look faded. Looks about the same on the other bicep, and then the forearm as well. So I think the only new tattoo, I guess, would be this one on the bicep here. But still, you got a good comparison. You got a Edge kind of in the middle of his prime, and then you got a brand new 2020 Edge. And that is going to do it for the brand new Elite Edge. I love this figure. I think what it represents, you know, the brand new comeback of Edge, one of the best moments probably of all time in WWE. And to get this version, the Chase version, and then the Ultimate Edition coming out, covering all 3 of his matches from this run, is going to be really something special. And hopefully it's not the end for Edge in WWE. I know they kind of wrote him off with that greatest match ever, and we haven't really seen anything from him since. Maybe he'll come back in this year's Royal Rumble. Let me know what you think of the figure, of Edge's return, if you think he'll come back, anything like that. Let's have a discussion in the comments. I've been on a bit of a WWE kick for the past month or so. I got tons of reviews out, including the previous Elite set, the Ultimate Editions, everything like that, some AEW stuff in there. And we got more AEW coming soon. I just got shipping for AEW 3. That's very exciting. So all that you want to stay tuned for. And I'm going to sprinkle in some Star Wars here, some Ninja Turtles, some Marvel, DC, a lot of stuff coming up throughout the year. So you're going to want to make sure you're staying subscribed to the channel here. You can also find me on Twitter at Scoopman_5000. Same thing on Instagram, where I'm going to be posting some figure photography. And with that, I'm going to leave this video off with said figure photography. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next action figure review.